It's a transgender day of visibility, chat. I'm no longer translucent. I
Happy
have
Trans Day
I have never been more opaque in my life.
of Visibility. So grateful to be visible today. Yes,
Yep, every single trans person will make this joke today.
I'm trans non-binary, but shout out dolls, shout out binary trans men, shout out all my non-binary trans people. 3 years ago, I was in a relationship with a man who told me he would find me unattractive if I pursued gender-affirming care.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Anyways, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected Colorado's ban on LGBTQ conversion talk therapy. We talked about this earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. I can't remember. It was sometime in the winter. The Colorado banned psychotherapy, like using saying I'm not translucent anymore. That's true, chat. But Colorado implemented a law basically preventing specific language from being used in a therapy setting that would be considered uh conversion therapy speak. You know, like, oh, are you sure you're trans? Like, maybe you're just having this issue, and not providing the medically accurate information of just being affirming. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected a Tuesday Colorado law that banned psychotherapists from using conversion talk therapy intended to change an LGBT minor's sexual orientation or gender identity, siding with Christian licensed counselor and casting the prohibition as an intrusion on free speech rights. An 8-1 ruling authorized by Justice Neil Gorsuch rejected Colorado's argument that its law regulated professional conduct, not protected speech. Justices reversed a lower court's decision that have upheld the law in a case brought to Counselor Kaylee Childs, who argued it would violate the U.S. Constitution and First Amendment protected against government abridgment of free speech. No, it doesn't. That's not how free speech works. Colorado's law addressing conversion therapy does not just ban physical interventions. In cases like this, it censors speech based on a viewpoint. Colorado may regard its policy as essential to public health and safety. Certainly, centrist governments throughout history have been the same, but the First Amendment stands shield against any effort to enforce orthodoxy in thought or speech in this country.
For and against Nicolas Maduro.
Why am I looking at this? Why is that here? Republican President Donald Trump administration backed Chile's in the challenge of the law. The Supreme Court 6-3 conservative majority. Liberal Justice Ketanji Brown. Why can I not say her name all of a sudden? Yeah, Miss Jackson here. Lone dissenter is not a surprising move on her part. Dispute pitted Colorado's authority to forbid a healthcare practice that I called unsafe and ineffective against First Amendment speech protections. You know what's also illegal, chat? Bloodletting. Should we let chat? I want you guys to call your local representatives to tell them to get bloodletting back on the fucking docket. Because why not? Why not have bloodletting? Like, and the thing about it is, every person in the medical industry would completely agree with Colorado's law.
There's been this huge increase.
I remember when this podcast came out from Dr. Mike. Why is this so fucking loud? Turn it down.
Kids who identify as trans, but you have to look at how they're defining transness. So they're not all identifying as binary and having physical gender dysphoria and wanting gender-affirming medical interventions. So there are a ton of kids who the way they're describing their gender identity is way more about the social part. So I have a lot of kids who identify as non-binary, but they are totally happy with their bodies.
Yeah. It's like an easy conversation for scientists and doctors to have, and every single person in the medical field agrees that conversion therapy is evil and wrong. It just does undue harm or unnecessary harm that takes like decades to undo. Law prohibited licensed medical healthcare providers from seeking a change to a minor sexual orientation or gender identity according to the predetermined outcome, which each violation punishable by a fine up to $5,000. This includes attempts to reduce or eliminate same-sex attraction or change behaviors on or gender expressions. Which gender-affirming care would just be like, okay, cool. They're saying don't do non-gender affirming care, which is the easiest fucking rule to follow. Colorado's law does permit treatments to provide assisting to a person undergo gender transition, as well as therapy centered on acceptance, support, and understanding for identity, exploration, and development. Practicing Christian says she believes people that will flourish when they live consistently within God's design, including their biological sex. Christian nationalism is a plague. If you're a Christian nationalist, I mean, your guy's the number one dude, Charlie Kirk. I mean, he got kirked. That's all I can say. Whoa, my likes on TikTok are at 6-7. Sorry, got distracted. Kids deserve real help affirming that their bodies are not a mistake and that they are wonderfully made. The U.S. Supreme Court's decision today is significant for free speech, common sense, and families desperate to help their children. The court has weaponized free speech in order to prioritize anti-LGBTQ bias over the safety, health, and well-being of citizens. Oh, wait, this is Kelly Robinson. Is conversion therapy is pseudoscience and not real therapy. We remain committed to protecting children against these abusive practices that tear families apart. We'll continue to work alongside a coalition of partners to ensure that no kid is subjected to guilt, coercion, or rejection as they seek to help better understand themselves and grow. Crazy how Christians preach about not judging and then judge everyone who's not Christians. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Happy birthday, bro. It's Trans Day of Visibility. Doesn't mean every trans person's birthday is today. I can't believe they did this on Trans Day of Visibility. What fucking cojones they got. Giant nut sacks they have on them.
Surgery. Is that done in adolescence ever?
This is the conversation on
And entirely a social construct.
Dr. Mike and Dr. Jack Turbin.
Very good interview. If you ever want to see like a genuine healthcare provider speak about trans issues, not really trans issues, but the medical side of it, you would take a look at that. Trans Day of Visibility. Because the fact that conversion therapy support among Americans. Because I know this was a couple of years ago, but the Trevor Project reported on a lot of conversion therapy in general. Did I miss anything? Man, fuck you, I was being nice. That's true. Most Americans oppose conversion therapy and support efforts to protect LGBTQ youth from its harms. Yeah, this is back in December. Leading Suicide Prevention Crisis Intervention Organization for LGBTQ Young People released a new report today that sheds light on the alarming extensive presence of practitioners of so-called conversion therapy across the U.S. Conversion therapy refers to a range of dangerous, discredited, and unscientific practices that attempt to change one's LGBTQ identity. Still happening. Trevor Product identified more than 1320, including 40 or 46% who hold active professional licenses and 54 operating in a minstrel or religious capacity. Or a minstrel or religious capacity. We need to throw out every single Supreme Court justice. We need to get rid of Supreme Court justices altogether because this is the shit that happens. It is a way for whoever's in power to secure power for their administration and their coalition for like decades to come.